Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Not My Lifetime channel for a lovely Wednesday evening show with two great guests. As always, Briggsy is here wearing his fantastic shades today in honour of Gundogan's return to the club. Also, the first appearance on the channel of Bevo. Welcome, my friend. How are you doing?
Nice to be here, mate. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It was always had to happen actually after I've been on the show. And obviously, I've been on the channel about twice, and I thought it's definitely fitting you to obviously be on the channel, obviously here for the first time. It's good to have you finally on. And Harry, how you doing, mate? After Sunday?
Yep, great result, and obviously this Gundogan news, absolutely sensational. As you can see, shades are on. Everyone's doing it. Hugh, LB, got to join the trend, haven't we? And guys, hit the like, subscribe to Bevo, CityBevoTV. Obviously, if you're new on this platform, subscribe to Not in My Lifetime. Get the boys to 750. Alex, Danny, and Luke. And obviously, you can check my social media out, Blue Fan from all. But do us all a favour, lads. Get everyone to where they need to be. Luke, Bevo, and myself. But ideally, these two at the top, because these are the top YouTubers around the City platform, boys. So give them all the love. And as we do, Gundo Horn. Have a bit of that. Gundo
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much, mate. Big up, Ryan. All right, mate. All good. Big up, Ethan. Gundo is back. Gundo back. Yeah. It's a good Gundo gone. Gundo again. Yeah, mate. It's spreading everywhere like wildfire, these hashtags. And up to Luke as always, bro. Well done on getting sympathy yourself, mate. Doing a great job yourself on the channel yourself. And big up to obviously your subscribers and also everyone in the community for pitching in, obviously helping out. Also, big up Steve as well, as always. Always big support on these shows as well. Now, let's get into it. Gundogan finally back after about a week of speculation that constantly the wildfire, and he's hit all of a sudden. We finally got him back, and we finally got a replacement for Gundogan. It's Gundogan. Funny that, but is what it is. I mean, how are you guys both feeling about this transfer overall? Like overall, it's obviously great to have a player of him back, but it means, especially in Europe, in other competitions, when we've got someone of his quality who can offer so much more defensively and attack, just an all-rounded midfielder. How do you feel this is overall the transfer for us?
I'll let you start, Bevo. The floor is yours because you're a newcomer on this channel.
Cheers, mate. Really happy. Nice to have him back at the club. Last few weeks there's been some sort of speculation about, should we sign Gundogan back because we can't find another replacement? Should we just go and get Gundogan back from Barcelona? For me, it was always it was never on the cards. So I looked at it from a sort of a negative perspective because for me this would never ever have happened. So I just saw it as the Pep doesn't generally sign players back. He's only ever done it once. He's left to go to Barca. He left after joining the treble, after winning the treble. It was a perfect time to bow out. There was just so many sort of variables that I could see for reasons why he wouldn't. But then when the news dropped, Gundogan looks like Gundogan's coming back. It was like, oh well, do you know what? I might change my mind a little bit here. And I mean, don't get me wrong. We all know what Gundogan is as a player. We know how well he can play. It was only a few months back in the Euros when you could see how well he was performing. So I think for me, I'm like a kid at Christmas. I'm so happy we've got him back. I think we spoke about it on our channel on my channel last night. And I said, if you look at last season, especially against the big six clubs, you look at Arsenal when they came to the Etihad, 11 men in the box pretty much at all times, parking the bus. We needed somebody like a Gundogan back then. And I think if we'd have had Gundogan back then last season, I think we'd have won 2 out of the three trophies. To bring him back into the team this season, it's only going to benefit us. He's not a new player; he's a new signing, but he's not a new player, so there's not going to be like a bedding in period like there would be with, potentially with like Bruno G or Adam Wharton or any of these other names that have been sort of floating around. Gundogan can literally come back into the team, get his old space back on the in the changing rooms, and play like he's never left.
I mean, when you see as well the actual, the rumors about obviously his number being 21, obviously with Silva, obviously, and I think for me this was quite more fitting in a way. If you're going to give a legendary shot number like 21, someone, Gundogan for me is the one I put it to. I mean, obviously because 8 obviously is Kovacic's number now. I think I can't understand obviously that you can't really sort of give a number over to someone because he's come back. I can't get that.
This is where I go against you. 21 for me, that was always Sergio Gomez's number, always.
Oh God, Gomez. I remember him. Oh yeah, he's gone Sociedad now. Yeah, he's just gone out the back door. Just no.
No, I mean it'll forever be known as David Silva's number 1.
Oh yeah.
But let's not get it twisted.
No, absolutely. But I think it's a good number to sort of give to Gundogan. I mean, Harry especially. Obviously, we know how good Gundogan has been. Obviously, before he obviously left us, being a treble. Obviously, the captain of the club. Obviously, during our treble winning season. It was even before that in 2021 when KDB was out injured for most of the season. Obviously, through spells, scored some unbelievable goals. But even before that, like I was saying to Bevo on his channel, like the amount of times that he scored some important goals for us in that Centurion season as well. Like he was often underrated, I think, to start with, but only got good. I think only got recognised more and more worldwide for that season that he'd had. But how important is this signing, obviously, to you, Harry? Like, how important is this signing for us this season?
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to look at it a couple of ways. People that are expecting him to play week in, week out, you're obviously wrong because, I mean, of his age. And I know age is just a number, but this backs my point what I'm about to say now. You've got to think of the Aston Villa game, for example. Prime Aston Villa game, when we was 2-0 down, he came off the bench. He's got these moments where obviously he's going to come off the subs bench and obviously impact the game, whether it's game that we're winning, drawing or losing. And I said it on BBC Radio Manchester just now. Do you remember that Leicester City game when obviously Kevin De Bruyne scored the free kick at the end? If you take Kevin De Bruyne out of that equation, who's going to be there to score like an important goal like that matters? Ilkay Gundogan potentially. So if you don't have Kevin De Bruyne, you've got Ilkay Gundogan, vice versa. Same with the Aston Villa game. It's more about managing his minutes and obviously his leadership qualities as well. I mean, me and Bevo was talking on Twitter about this the other day. Last season, like we all know, that rocky period between November to the Club World Cup, some of them games, there was missing a bit of leadership, a bit of mentality. In particular, like I said to Bevo, that Crystal Palace game, you're at home, you're 2-0 up, you should be cruising, lock down the game. But obviously, we capitulated and collapsed. Gundogan would have been perfect in that game. So it's a combination of when he comes on, like he can provide goals and assists, but it's all about his mentality. LB said it on his streams this morning. It's about up here. It's in his brain. His IQ off the field is insane. You can't deny that. So people expecting him to play 90 minutes every week, starting from whether it's this weekend or West Ham onwards. You're completely missing the mark because it's about what he'll do when he comes on, impacting the games and helping especially the younger boys. So like James McAtee when he gets a chance, helping what's he called? I can't think of his name. Nico Riley, big players. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't think of his name then. And obviously Kovacic as well. Kovacic is obviously still getting used to the system. Gundogan, like Bevo said, impacts straight away. He doesn't need to get used to pep ball because he knows what the system is. So he can, if them two play like a double pivot together, it's a win-win. There's plenty of positives from this, I think.
The other side of it as well is I mentioned the Arsenal game before. A lot of the top 6 clubs last year, with the exception of probably Chelsea, they all played that low block against us and just parked the bus. the thing that Ilkay brings to the team is not just his defensive side and not just his goals as well, but he can also produce a ball. He can play a ball that can split those lines. And when you're playing against a team which just wants to defend for the best part of 80 minutes, then there's one person that I would want on that pitch, and well, two if you include Kevin De Bruyne. But for me, Gundogan is that player. He is him. He can split the lines. He can make front post runs. You know, he's got everything in his archive. You know, there's nothing that man can't do. He can defend. He can attack. FA Cup final, that was crying out for Gundogan. Not just from a player point of view, but from a leadership point of view. You know,
Yep.
do you think Ilkay would have accepted that final? Not in my eyes, he wouldn't have.
No.
Especially just off the rumours, the players were on the piss. Again, rumours. But for Gundogan, like you said, the FA Cup final, he'd be like, right, we get up for this game. Like in the Treble documentary, we get up for these games, we don't slack. We play to minute 1 to minute 90. And if I see you slacking, I'll come tell you face to face, you shit, step up your game. That's what Gundogan does, like you say.
Oh, yeah. Because Kyle Walker, for me, he isn't the captain, in my opinion. He just does. Some players are captains. I'm not knocking his ability as a footballer, but he hasn't got that leadership quality that you need to win titles like that. I mean, I know he won the Premier League, but I wouldn't say he was him that won the league. It was more the fact that other players stepped up, like Diaz stepped up, obviously, when needed to. And you've seen with Diaz how much of a leader he is. Now, obviously, Gundogan coming back could mean he's captain. I think for me, he'd be part of the leadership group, but I don't think he'd be captain. I think it'll probably go back to it'll probably be Walker. They'll probably keep it as it is for this season. Then maybe next year they might give it to De Bruyne. De Bruyne says stay longer, and you know what I mean, it's something like that. So it depends. Obviously,
the thing is, where being the captain, all that really is wearing a pretty armband. You know, while you're on the pitch. At the end of the day, we have got so many leaders and captains behind the scenes. You know, you only have to look at Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, you know,
Diaz.
Ruben Diaz, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. There are so, you know, Haaland. You know, we have so many leaders behind the scenes, and I was just talking about the sort of the 5 captains, but you could extend that out and you could say, okay, well, I would include John Stones in that. You know, I'd probably include Kovacic in that for the simple fact of, you know, his experience and what he's done in the game. There are so many leaders. You know, Phil Foden, 6 Premier League titles. Talk about experience. You know, still young.
He won the armband as well.
Well, yeah, still young, but he's been around the block. He's seen it. He's done it. He is a born winner, the same as, you know, the entire team. We don't just have that one. We don't just have that one captain. Pretty much our whole team is captains. Rico Lewis, captain of the EDS when he was in the EDS. You know, you can then look at O'Reilly. O'Reilly, captain in the EDS.
Yeah.
You know, there are so many natural born leaders in that team that, in my opinion, the captain for the club, it just involves wearing the armbands and sorting out players' fines.
Yeah, exactly. And that is why I think having Gundogan back in this team, it gives us the mentality again to want, because I have a feeling players like, it's the treble with anything, it's people. It may sound like it's some easy thing to get. It really isn't. Like looking back at that season, we can almost win it. Like we had no idea when we were in February, when we were so consistent that period, the winter period after we lost. Is it like Brentford? Is it 2-1 or something that last minute? We're very consistent even throughout that period after the World Cup. And then after that Tottenham loss, no one thought that it would probably go on to achieve what we did. Because obviously, with winning a treble like that, you got to be in the competitions towards the very end. You can't just coast through. You got to sort of be in there to win it. You know what I mean? You might.
getting charged 115 times during the Tottenham loss as well. Like, everyone saw that as, oh, City are going to fall off. Nah, mentality monsters.
It's just like, what do you call it? Do you remember when Ruben Diaz says, this is where we get big? We don't focus on no one else except
That gives me
ourselves.
chills, that gives me chills
Yeah,
every time.
that quote. But he's
He
right,
is
though.
captain. He is captain.
He's right.
Me.
We only focus on anyone but ourselves. We don't care about Liverpool. We don't care about Arsenal or United. It's only about us.
Sometimes, though, it takes for a player to say that, because, you know, sometimes, no matter how good your mentality is, sometimes you can look and go, oh, well, we're 8 points behind here. And that's when it takes someone like Diaz to step in and say, we're forgetting about the most important thing, and that's focusing just on ourselves. And then from then, we went on, like, what, 14, 15 game win streak? Like, you know, that's all you need, isn't it?
It's that Leipzig game we won 7-0. Was it 7-0? Like, that was the game where I thought, right, they've turned like, you saw De Bruyne and just go full on. That's it. They've had enough. I went full on, like, throttle, because when they're both on it, I said before, them two have a connection that's I haven't seen for footballers ever. Like, it's just perfectly made for each other. And when they're both on it, it's hard to stop. But the whole team responded. Like, Jack just got better and better throughout the rest of the season. He becomes an important player. Yeah, Mahrez as well, underrated that season. So underrated for what he did. Like, the hat tricks at Sheffield United in the Wembley was massive, because again, no treble without that hat trick. I was there and I witnessed it. He was brilliant. Like, the penalty, stepping up when needed to, showing leadership himself. And also seeing is actually about Savio as well was actually really cool, because that's kind of for Savio as well. And we've already seen a little bit already from him for a cameo on the start. That kid's going to be a big player for us this season. The way he plays football and the way he sort of deals with the kind of like balls into the box, especially with having Gundogan in there as well, is massive. We've got so many options to work with in that midfield and the attack. I think what's going to be good is that we have no idea what Pep's going to choose now until at least March, because every game can be different. Every game, we might see like the occasional players who start the game, of course we do, but I think up until March, it's going to be a lot of experimenting to get the right team, which is fine.
I mentioned it on, I mentioned it on our on the show last night, didn't I? I think by bringing Gundogan into this team, you're going to get more output from players like Jeremy Doku, who when he takes the ball down the byline and crosses it in, it always goes to that near post, and that's where you don't even have to question it. You know that Gundogan will be there because he's always there.
Like the Villa goal, for example, at the end. He's
on
the far post.
And the De Bruyne pass,
Haaland on the far post in that situation, because for height. So if you're going to dink a ball in, he's got the height to get on the end of it. So you'd have Gundo sort of making that run into the near post. And I think that just overall just improves Doku's output. You look at Chelsea game at the weekend, he made that run past like 3 or 4 defenders into the box, and then he tried to cut it back, but there was nobody there. Like, in any other scenario, Gundogan will be there, or thereabouts.
Exactly.
He's a player that likes to float about, doesn't he? He's not just central to the park. Like you say, he can chip in with defensive work to, let's say, if him and Rodri do end up playing a double pivot sometimes, he'll help Rodri in defence. But like you say, he'll push forward. So he's not a one-man show, just centre of the park. He'll just be up and down. But what I'm going to say with Doku and Savio, I'm guilty of it with Doku last season when I started raving on City Extra with Hugh Murray. I was like raving Doku, thinking the next sensation. But with Savio, I think we just need to be a bit more patient, because obviously he's still going to get used to the system, especially now Gundogan, like you say, will be floating up and down. It's more about what kind of balls does Savio put in for Gundogan, because obviously Gundogan likes a certain ball, doesn't he, on the back post. So we just need to remain patient with both, because I think Doku's still learning about the system. He's got like no end products basically. So he just needs
No.
to work on that, and we've got a perfect
I
winger
think
there.
I think this is part of the problem, though. People say, you know, he hasn't got the end product, and to a point, I'd agree, especially when it comes to shooting. But for me, I think the end product from sort of the assisting side of it, I don't think that's down to him and his fault. I think that's because I explained the other day that when Doku comes up against the defence, that defence has no idea where he's going. And I don't, to be honest, I don't think Doku knows where he's going half the time. I think he just, I think he's looking at
right. You're right.
You know, is the man facing on the inside? If he's facing on the inside, he'll take him on the outside. If he's facing on the outside, vice versa. But then he'll do that chop and change like really quickly. So he'll go, okay, well, he's facing outside, so I'm going to take him inside. And as he comes inside, he'll take him back outside again. So on that basis, he's so unpredictable to the point where the defenders don't know what he's going to do. And I don't think our team knows what he's going to do. And when you're playing the system that we're playing, we've only got one real point of target, and that's Haaland. You know, Kev generally doesn't get in those positions. Kev normally sort of pulls back. You know, Phil Foden might get in those positions from time to time, but generally is on the opposite side to Doku, so can't make that near post run. So when you're looking at it like that, I think a lot of the issues around Doku's output as from an end point, I think, yeah, he needs to improve on his shooting, but I think from an assists point of view, I think having that player that runs to the near post will, I think just from that alone, he'll get maybe 8 more assists in the season, maybe 10.
Because of Gundogan, yeah.
Big up Steve here, literally. Steve here, but it's perfect. Like, the thing is, I think Doku's output is going to massively improve because of having Gundogan there, because it's going to give him another option in that box. Because the thing is, at times, Haaland does stuff often stand sometimes. I'm not saying he's not always moving, but somewhere like you could just move foot closer to the players. And as I said before, you need to try and get out of that like spot of waiting for the ball to come to you, because the defenders want that, because they're able to marsh you out the game and clear it. If you start causing a nuisance, try and run around and try and get the ball off, players and try to have a shot, you also cause a lot of issues, obviously, for the defense. I think having Doku and Gundogan being in that position as well, sort of go up the field and try and get in that box and sort of get tapping himself. It gives Savio and Doku, or Bob, whoever comes back, and Jack options that I haven't had before, because I think Kovacic doesn't do that. Neither does Bernardo Silva, neither does De Bruyne. Foden does. That's Foden's kind of position anyway. We all know he does that anyway. But having Gundogan is another option in that midfield that if we ever need to get a goal, bring on, get a goal. I think
different type of player as well. Different type of player as well. It's a player that we haven't got in the middle. You know, you've got Kovacic, who's incredibly good at sort of ball retention and making forward runs. Really, really good at that. Defensively, he's he had a good game against Chelsea, but that's not always been the case. But then you look at maybe the other midfielder, Kevin De Bruyne. You know, he's very much a type of player that doesn't really get involved too much in the defensive side. You know, sort of plays just on the outside of the box. You know, bringing Gundogan in is a whole different type of player. So it's just another creative option, which last season in particular we were crying out for.
I think what's going to happen is Kovacic will obviously drop a bit more deeper to allow Gundogan that space to go forward, and then obviously if it ends up on a counter where Gundogan's obviously not got the ball and the team's break, at least you've got Kovacic to cover in that holding role while Gundogan tracks back. That's something what's going to happen, I think.
That is a great point. I actually made this point a while ago. I forget whose stream it was on. I do like 4 a week. But I basically said that last season and the season before, when we're on the count, when we're on the attack, Rodri doesn't play as a 6; he plays as an 8. So when a lot of the times that we were getting caught was when you've got your back line here and Rodri's like here, and then you've got your midfield and attackers sort of here, and they're all sort of bunched together. You've got that space where players, take Brentford, for example, last season. We were on the attack, goalkeeper gets the ball, first thing he does, right over the top of the midfield, just in front of the back line. And that's where Rodri should have been. But because Rodri was pressing forward a lot of the time last season, it was leaving that massive space for the opposition attackers to basically just sit in that space, because there was so much space there to get the ball and make a turn. So on the counter attack, I just feel like bringing Gundogan in, that allows Rodri to keep pressing forward, because Gundogan will drop back. Gundogan will drop back and hold that sixth position, so there isn't that massive gap. Or vice versa, Rodri might hold back and Gundogan sort of plays forward. But it's about stopping that amount of space on a counter attack, which is where I think we leaked a lot of goals last season.
Yeah, we did, definitely, because it's like I think for me, it's just I'm still like surprised it's happened. I think if anything, obviously the fact we've got him and all that we have at our disposal now going forward is great. I think especially against a team like Arsenal. I think last season we struggled against Arsenal because we didn't have that player in the box, Haaland, to get on the end of crosses or end of shots. And I know Arsenal sort of often sat back as well to try and stop us from doing that. But having that player in there, it really does cause a nuisance for them, because they have no idea who to mark out of Haaland and Gundogan, and you have to guess and hope that the one time you get it right, you clear it away. And I think that's for me is. I'm not betting to start games like week in week. I think he'll start a couple of games. It definitely he is still fit enough to do it. I've watched him at Barcelona. He was probably the best player last year. He was probably the best player. Yeah, so he's still fit. He's still physically fit enough to sort of do it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he actually still plays actually some games. I think everyone's assuming that he won't play. He might play more games.
Well, I think I don't know if you know this, but there's something in his contract to say that he has to play 60% of games in 60% of games, which is fine. I actually questioned it, because I questioned it to the point where I said, okay, so is he expecting to play 60% of games in terms of minutes throughout the whole season? So 60% of 90 minutes games. And they said, no, that includes substitutions as well. So I think you'll find a lot of time this season, if we're 1-0, 2-1, up, whatever, or 0-0 or 1-0 down, that's when you'll see Gundo come in. I think most games you'll see him come on from sort of 60 minutes onwards.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, because obviously I'll go on to like the actual Kyogo news in a bit. Obviously, that Hugh actually sort of revealed yesterday on his stream yesterday. I think I watched a little bit here briefly, but I did hear him mentioning
Hugh Romano.
Hugh, we go, he said on his.
You got Fabrizio, but I was like, bloody hell! You got Romano acting you. That's fair play. That's a big one. That
when Romano's getting his news from you, you know you're doing well.
Oh mate!
And apparently Romano's followed Hugh on Twitter, and Hugh thinks them two are best buds now.
Yeah, no, good on him. He's absolutely smashing it. Fair play to him. Like, he's absolutely smashing it. Big up to you.
Well, you don't say stuff unless you've got a legit source behind you, do you? Otherwise, anyone can make stuff up.
Now, do you think Hugh's told me?
The Hugh hairdo,
It's Hugh and Martin, isn't it? It's Hugh and Martin.
It must
definitely.
Be. Yeah. It's behind the scenes. It's the FBI is all a lie. Martin trying to get more followers on a burner account. Typical. Anyway, big up the Dugout channel. He's actually a good friend of Tone's. I've got to know through him doing shows of him and other podcasts in the past. He's actually a Liverpool fan himself, and there's a lot of good football content in Scotland and that. As an avid watcher of Furuhashi, obviously Celtic, I know him, but I like him as well personally as a player outside of English football. It was time with Celtic. Shot's great with his right foot. It would be a great presence for Alvarez. I think it would be as well. Because the thing is, people will actually think he's going to be this like player that won't play many games. But if you actually watch him play, he's very versatile, very aggressive, very a good player in the box. I think having someone like that where we don't actually expect to do anything might be a big player for us because you won't expect him to do much, but it might come in a certain game and get like a tap in, might get a couple goals. Like that's what we need. Someone who understands their role, but is willing to put a shift in when called upon. I think Alvarez for me would have done that, but he's too good to be on the bench all the time. He should be playing. He should be playing week in, week out. So it kind of like Kyogo for me is, I think, for the moment, is someone that I definitely would say, yeah, I'm fine with that if that happens, because I'm not asking for an insane signing where I need to level with like Vlahovic. I just want someone who can sort of be on the bench, give us an option that you use like Ipswich, or someone who can sort of even like a Champions League game away from home. You never know what happen because he can do it as well in Europe. Obviously, if it's as well in the past. So I'm fine with it if that happens. I mean. Exactly. That's the thing with City Twitter. Not us particularly, us three here, or people who actually watch games and obviously understand that different things. But I think for me, he's the kind of sign we need. Someone who's just a bit low key, not ridiculously expensive, but can sort of do the job for a season or two, and just get us another option. Because look, you're going to get another striker in Ireland's quality because I just come in and walk out the next summer because I know they're better than that. I was ask you to obviously what you think, but I think for me personally, I'm fine with it if it is the case. I mean, obviously, Hugh hasn't said obviously it's going to happen. We're interested in him. It doesn't mean we'll get him. It's not confirmed that we're getting him. Like it's a name mentioned. Look, obviously, if it ever happens, I'm fine with it. But I'd like to know who else actually on that short. You know what I mean?
For me,
Yeah,
I was thinking about. Go on, Bevo.
I was just going to say, from what I've heard, I don't know too much about him. From what I've heard, he's very versatile. He's got a good left and right foot, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's 29. So, I wouldn't say he's coming to the end of his career, but he's definitely sort of in the prime parts of his career now, I'd say.
Yeah.
So what I'd say on that is, coming to this point of your career, you've only maybe got one, potentially two big contracts left in you. And I see that as, if he's happy to sort of be very much a rotation player and, to bring Haaland off after, 60, 70 minutes if we're 4-0 up, like I'm all for it, but whoever we bring in needs to be prepared for the fact that 8 out of 10 games they're not going to play.
Exactly. I mean, Steve here said about David. I mean, I like Jonathan David, but it's like there's so many options that you can go for as a backup striker, but you aren't going to get anyone of a genuine high quality. I'm not saying you can't do, but if you are, they'll move on
as well.
Exactly, he will, because he's better off going to someone like a mid-table, like a West Ham, or he's one better than that in Europe for me. Because I think he can't be like the fact that Lille are also in the Champions League as well. Why would he want to go down that level? He want to be at a level, obviously a Champions League level anyway. Obviously where he is. So will I take him? I mean, it's an option, but I need to see more before I sort of say absolutely. But you never know. It could be the case, but right now it's all guessing game right now with the actual 4 players. It's all guessing game. It's going to be wearing different names obviously every day now. Kyogo, David, it could be someone else tomorrow. It's all up in the air. Once Gundogan is gone.
I've heard another mental name as well, like mental.
Oh, hello.
I'll have to tell you off stream. I mean, it won't
That's
happen. It's that mental. It won't happen.
No.
There's something with Jonathan David, because if you remember, 4 or 5 years ago, it was the same with Osserman. There was both got potential to be the next best world striker. And imagine now another drop off for Jonathan David, same with Osserman. But could you really see Jonathan David wanting to be back up when 4 or 5 years ago it was tipped to be the next best thing for like any big team?
Yeah.
And what I was going to say was just a minute ago, I thought I was looking at Ian Acho last night. Could bring him back, but he's just gone to Seville. He's still 27 as well. So, I mean, he's used the Pep system, and obviously, he used to be back up under Aguero. So why couldn't he do it now? But it turns out he's just joined Seville. But for me, my preference is if you can't get a striker, but it seems like we're going for this guy from Celtic because of Hugh Romano, here we go. What I'd do is, if that somehow falls through, I'm happy for false nine if you chuck Foden in there, because we've won a title with false nine. Why not go back to the old system? And obviously, you can get Phil Foden a bit more central in the box.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a shout.
I agree, because
I've just WhatsApped you the name. I want to see your reaction.
No, he's too old. He's somebody. Right, you know what? I'll say he's in Saudi. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But like, let's say 5 years ago, sure, but he ain't the same player anymore, man.
That's what I've heard, and I was like, nah, no way. No way.
Jesus, no.
Oh, no, that's why I'm
gone.
saying Foden for false nine.
Get him out of it, man. Get him out of it, man. No. Thank you for your service, but no thank you. No, for me, I agree. For me, I probably would go for a full stop system as well as Haaland, because I think that it gives a chance to switch it up a little bit, where we give other teams not knowing what to expect. We go to a game against someone like a West Ham and think, right, Haaland's going to start up front. No, he won't. It'll be a false nine instead, and Haaland on the bench. Haaland comes on, like something like that. We could actually mix it up a little bit, where people are going to sort of like be unsure about about what's going to happen each game. I think that's kind of good because last season everyone kind of knew our team, whereas this year it'll be a bit more obviously ambiguous. I mean, Steve.
No, I was just going to say, Steve in the chat.
That bridge has gone. That bridge is destroyed, mate.
I'd rather
Steve,
have Sane back.
But no.
Leroy had more respect for us than Raheem does.
Exactly.
Like Leroy.
Did you see the video of Zabaleta sending shots at Sterling? Have you seen it?
No.
Oh gosh.
Have a look on my Twitter when you get a chance. I reposted a video before, and he basically sends shots at Sterling saying that he needs to be nicer when he leaves a club and stuff like. Oh, honestly, he's sending.
Well, he's not wrong.
Look at Chelsea. Look at Chelsea. Lost he's still at the club, training at home. His number 7 shirt's been given to nephew. And it's like this guy's career has gone down the absolute shitter. All because
didn't he leave Liverpool on bad terms as well?
He did. Yeah,
exactly.
And the guy is a brilliant player, and he was absolutely world class for a good couple of years, but his attitude just isn't the best. And that doesn't mean knocking it. I still think he's been a great player for us over the years when he was here. I respect him so much for what he did for us. But it doesn't mean that you don't. Yeah, it makes up for how he behaves. Like the guy behaves like he's better than what he is. He used to be a fantastic pass winner, probably at one point of the Ronaldo and Messi for stats at one point. But the guy has fallen off completely. Lost confidence. He's no longer the player that he used to be. He's now getting left out to Mudryk and Bodillo and players like that now for Chelsea. Who, bear in mind, they bought him that kind of big player for them. It just kind of shows you that his career for me is kind of just done. Like, there's no comeback after this. Like, I wish there was, but who's going to really take a risk on him now?
I've seen West Ham today.
West Ham?
Yeah. I don't know how
reliable. That'd be all right, actually.
I've seen somewhere saying
that'd be all right, but
I see Sterling going off to Saudi.
He said no, didn't he? But no, the money's right. So that's the thing, isn't it?
Oh, he'll definitely consider it now. His England career is basically done anyway. So I think for me, he's coming towards the end of his career. What's Sterling now, like 31, 30?
He's 29, 30 years old now, yeah. So he's technically in his prime, technically, if you think about that.
I suppose, yeah. I mean, he's probably got, 4 or 5 years in him, I reckon. Something like that. Maybe 6.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame. He should be. He should still be in that England squad. Picking high.
He should.
Right.
He should,
Do
yeah.
you know what? I've got a perfect scenario. Right. We ring Vinny, say, can we have Sane? Right. He says, yeah, sure. You've done a lot for me in my career. You can have Leroy back. And then Vinny goes in and gets Sterling.
You know what? I think that would. I don't know. It sounds like an
Vinny would keep
interesting.
him under check.
I tell you what. They can have Cancelo as a sweetener as well. How about that?
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah,
mind you, saying that they didn't want him because of his attitude. So.
No, Lukaku, Steve. Are you joking me? Timberland.
I've seen that Kevin De Bruyne Lukaku link up play, and it is not nice.
No, it used to be really good years ago. It used to be really good years ago. Like, don't get me wrong, him, Hazard, and Lukaku was brilliant, but Lukaku's career, right, should be way better than what it really is. Like, the guy at Everton was class, absolutely class. Like, and he went to the wrong He went to the wrong team, United. He went to the wrong club. He should have done at that point is gone back to Chelsea after Everton when he needed a striker at that point.
If there's two clubs in England that you don't go to, it's Chelsea and United because they're both notorious for ruining players' careers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you look at Chelsea. You know, Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah, Musiala. You know, I mean, that's just to name a few.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Watch Gallagher be good. Gallagher, by the way, is going to be great at Atletico Madrid. He'll be class.
Oh yeah. I think he will.
He'll be one of England's best midfielders. Before you know it. I always said before, he's not a bad player playing in a bad team. You're a good manager, but with the right system, he will become a great player. And it'll find, and also the way that Atletico team was Llorente, okay, and Gallagher, bloody hell, it's a shit house midfield. That's gonna be a proper hot workhorse. And that Atletico team is, by the way, as well, it's actually an underrated team they're building there. That's quite a good team that they've got now. And I think, I know it's off topic, but when you look at like a European, like, you know, the Champions League coming up, they'll be a force towards the rest of the season if they get it right. But yeah, I mean, for me, with the forward thing, don't go back not on the forward thing. Go with someone a bit different. Someone that'll provide a bit of a different option. Don't go for Sterling or Lukaku. What are we here? What are we doing? Like, Raheem Bridges have gone ages ago.
Straight away.
I'm taking the 38-year-old Edin Dzeko before I'm taking Raheem Sterling.
All right, LB.
I mean, I would still tall player in the box.
Yeah, Ryan, I'd take Danny over Sterling.
Danny Ings, mate, his career.
I don't know whether it's PTSD, but I just get visions of Leon.
Yeah, I know. That room wild when that happened. I was like, what are we doing here? Thank God we got Haaland. Honestly, thank God we got Haaland in the end. Jesus.
Bring me back Stefan Jovetic.
Actually, yeah, mate. He was a player, mate. Shame he didn't work out.
I've got a better one. If you're on about strikers, what about Pep and Balotelli?
Oh, I'd love Balotelli. I would love Balotelli and Pep.
Balo under Pep. Oh, mate. Do you know what?
Be funny.
Because you know what? I think Balo would actually respect Pep.
He would.
Because I think that Chris, I mean, he's a City fan. I mean,
Chris
sure.
Wood,
All right.
yeah, love it. Sign him up.
Harry just done that. I was like, what are we doing here? We're being shameless, Harry.
How have we gone from Alvarez to fucking Chris fucking Wood?
Yeah, but he's
Why don't we have Sean Dyche as manager?
I tell you, mate, it's the fun season. It's the fun season. Just bring them all back.
Get Vinny out of retirement. He has Sevilla now, Ryan. Can't get him now, but a little bit of an idea.
He's gone to Sevilla, not sure.
But even so, no. Look, just get someone of good quality who can do a job.
Bring him back.
38-year-old Navas. Imagine.
He's
better than Walker. He's better than Walker. Why not?
Bring them all back. Bring him out of
Come on,
retirement.
Bodie,
Get the
Bodie,
game
get back in. Come on, Bodie.
Zabaleta.
Javi Garcia.
Oh,
you're
I'd
still
love
playing.
Zabaleta.
Javi Garcia, Pizarro, come on.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Isn't Gareth Barry still playing football for like a non-league team?
Nah, Tia, yeah.
Bring Gareth Barry back. I'm telling you.
Alvo Negredo.
Oh, you're on a grader, yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, what's Gareth Barry now? He's got to be in his 40s, hasn't he?
42, I think.
41?
Imagine Gareth Barry holding the midfield with De Bruyne.
I'm all for it. I am all for it, I tell you.
Right, that's too far now, Steve. Come on. Let's be serious.
Yeah, there's levels. I mean, you've already said Lukaku. Don't go
He
Lord Bent.
never got started in his career. Oh, bloody hell, man.
Don't go for the Lord. You might as well get Eduardo while you're at it.
It's one, to be fair, he was a bad player, right? Just injury ruined his career, sadly. But,
Exactly.
Mate, there are some players we've had. Jack Rodwell and Scott Sinclair for winning our first league title. That summer, man, was a fucking shit show.
Jack Rodwell and Javi Garcia.
Pizarro for no reason. Why not? And Maicon, why not? It's Milan.
They were all right, but not as bad as Javi Garcia and Jack Rodwell.
Santa Cruz, but he's still playing. He's still playing.
What? Wow. Rocket Santa Cruz? I've just been seeing him on the FIFA 09 career mode at Blackburn.
Oh, man, yeah, that career mode, FIFA 09, man, was something else.
While we're talking about strikers, for City, who is the worst striker you think we've had at the club?
Right, is this ever or post takeover? Just wonder.
I'd probably go from
Joe.
Let's go from 2005 onwards.
Oh, okay. I'd say Joe's up there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Benjani wasn't bad. He was good, but I wouldn't say he was great either. Benjani, he was a great goal moment. Who? Tony.
For me, it's Bernardo Corradi.
Oh my God, Bernardo Corradi. That's a throw. That is.
I think he only scored about 14 goals in his entire career as a striker, and that's not even a joke.
I will confirm. I'll confirm it now.
It's honestly.
No,
I mean it's not going to be 14. I'm massively undercutting him. But what I'm saying is, I think in his entire, I think he's had like 90 games, 2 goals, or
105 goals in 106 games. So he got 3 fast in 25 games.
He got what?
3 goals, apparently. But bear in mind on Wikipedia, so this is going to be completely wrong. But I'm going off what I'm seeing. I can do research, but I'm not going to be bothered from Karate. 3 goals in appearances, apparently. 3 goals, apparently. Could be more, but.
Lad, hit the like for a striker of your choice. Hit the like on the stream for a striker of your choice.
You got to decide. Our striker. Bianchi. Bloody hell. Bianchi. I mean, Podolski's gone. He was a legend. But, no. Neris Castillo.
Yeah,
that young striker on the time.
Wow.
Jesus, man. He's a name coming out the hat, aren't they? Bloody hell.
Throwback.
Yeah.
Anelka, fuck it, why not? Come back.
Yeah.
Retirement, why not? Jesus, man. It's like, honestly, you could do a whole stream just dissecting signings we've made since 2005. That'd be hilarious. If we signed them.
I'm not being funny, right? But me and Bevo were doing this with CityBevoTV when he started off. We was ranking all the signings from like 2000 onwards, weren't we?
Oh, mate.
Yeah, I don't think we
there were
ever
some
made
crackers on there.
All right.
I don't think
leave a like
made it to
if you want this channel to do a proper in-depth signing since takeover, I'll record the signings. Every single one. I will do it.
And trust me, That
Yeah.
would be a
So
great
if you
show.
want Bevo and Harry there and other people on there, please let me know and we'll do it.
I'm
We're going to
game
make
for
it a
that.
good one.
I'm
We're
game
doing
for
that.
yeah.
We're doing it.
Oh,
'Cause it's going to
Valerie
be a
Bozhinov.
Bozhinov. Oh my God, Bozhinov.
Oh,
That's a
What
he was on my FIFA and cream mod.
a
I sold him. He's
what
80
a
rated.
player.
He's 80
80
rated.
rated. 80 rated.
Do you know what? He had one year, I think, in his career at City. But he was actually half decent.
Yeah, he was actually. You weren't wrong. Yeah, you're right there. I mean, by the way, a bit of trust you know Ryan Cherky of Leon.
Turkey,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going Fulham.
That's a good signing for Fulham, that.
Anderson,
he's all right.
Cherky. Fulham have got a good team being built there. So it's not City, but
who was the other player they've just signed?
Anderson.
That was it.
And
Joaquin
Berger.
Anderson.
And Berger from Burnley.
Yeah,
They've got
Van
a
der
good
Berg, because
team
United are looking at him.
It's gone Fulham now. So yeah, mate, Fulham have got a good team being built there. I tell you, it's not a bad one actually. But mate, going back to the City players of old. Probably have Bozhinov, Bianchi, Jesus, mate. So honestly, some of the fans on Twitter, right, will have no idea how bad some of them players were at times. Some of them are great, but some, Jesus Christ, they went last. Imagine
Michael
that
Ball
City
as well.
with Twitter. Mate,
Michael Ball at left back, ladies and gentlemen.
I was going to say, did you just say Michael Ball? Michael Ball is a legend. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I was at that game. Do you remember when he stamped on Ronaldo?
Yep.
I was at that game.
But how many times did he get roasted?
False 9. Jesus Christ, Zinchenko at false 9. Remember that? Jesus. Boney, no. Mate, Dybala or Boney? I'll go Boney. Oh, Jesus Christ, man, honestly. Bloody hell, Pellegrini.
Do you know what makes it even more mad? Wilfred Boney was part of the reason why we ended up getting fined by by UEFA.
Oh, fuck. Dybala was right there, lad.
If it was for like Robinho or something, I might be like, okay, yeah, fair enough, I'll take
Boney.
But Boney. Oh, David James.
Not get Dybala.
Oh, Darius.
Why did we not get Dybala last season?
Steve, behave now. David James up front. Are you kidding me? Imagine that game. Imagine that game when Twitter was around.
We were such an unhinged team, though. You had Stuart Pearce walking up to the dugout with a we were so unhinged. We had Stuart Pearce, our manager, walking out to the dugout with a fluffy bunny rabbit in his hand or whatever it was. And then he goes, "Do you know what? Let's put our number one goalkeeper up front." Like so unhinged.
There's a reason this guy's not around no more.
Mate, people use that Middlesbrough game at 8-1 loss as a reason to laugh at us. Mate, you should have seen before that. Seriously, that's nothing. That game is not. Afonso Alves hat-trick and Downing doing well is nothing compared to what you saw before that. So,
and Luke, dare I say it? Who was Middlesbrough manager at the time?
Gareth Southgate.
Yep. England's best ever manager.
Oh, mate. I could play the clip right now of just you ripping into them.
That's the only trophy that he's won, the League City trophy.
All right, I'll play it for everyone now who wants to hear. This is actually Briggsy on Gareth Southgate.
Here we
go. He's a PlayStation 1 Championship manager playing Pro Evolution Soccer 1 tactics, while Pep Guardiola is an Xbox Series X manager playing EAFC Football Manager tactics. Gareth Southgate is a PlayStation 1 Championship.
That is him. That's Briggsy.
Get fire emojis in the chat for Briggsy.
Briggsy. Joe, I would actually mind doing that, but it's fan cams are nightmare. But Conlon, bloody hell, Mike Sharon, bloody Jesus, what he's playing. We just go back. We're going further back now. We're going back.
I know we're going bloody far far before I was born here, now.
Right, let's just stay here because I was the 90s point going further back. Like, guys, we're doing a stream about Gundogan and you're not about.
talk about
Sorry,
Max
mate.
Sullivan
I
next.
debunked your stream here. I'm so sorry.
No,
I debunked the stream.
yeah, I love it. This is what the show's about. But we will trust me. We will do. Leave a like. We will do that stream, ranking every single side, and we'll do it after when it closes, just in case obviously a couple more come in. But we'll definitely do it. 1 week.
That would be
we'll
something good for the international break.
All right,
Yeah.
then we'll do it then. Absolutely. George bloody Weah. Wow, he
The only Ballon d'Or player
George.
to play for City.
George Weah. All right, fine. All right.
Hey, Ballon d'Or winner. Ballon
He
d'Or
was.
winner.
It was. It was just like for us. He just wasn't. That's all right.
Yeah,
For us.
but when he comes to us, he was definitely past his best at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve, can I just say something to Steve, please?
Yeah,
Steve, please, can you come back to the present before you get lost in the past for good? I ain't got a time machine at all, so please come back to 2024. Please.
Jesus. Oh, but update on the Shirky thing, by the way. Apparently, big news. He said he doesn't want to go to Fulham. So Fulham have
he's
agreed a
not
deal
going
with Leon for Shirky. But Shirky's like, no, I'm going there.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I can understand why. Leon are a Champions League team or Europa League team. You know, but he's not gonna drop it for Fulham, is he? From Ballon d'Or to show them.
Oh, Steve, just for that, you will get modded for that. You will. That joke.
Yeah.
For that. You will. As I say, I used to do more mods. I'm done enough on the channel. I'm terrible at it, but trust me, I'll go through it and make everyone mods at some point who want to do it. Leon, honestly, Leon are horrible right now. I mean, I've been in multiple situations with Leon. It's terrible. Like, even last year, like, yeah, Bevo, I'll mod you. It's fine. I'll do it later on. I'll do it now because I can't bother. I'll do it later on. It's all right. No, but yeah, back to reality rather than talk about strikers. Yeah, like the 90s now. We're back where it should belong now. I mean, look, I think as long as we get like a proper a good attacker in after Gundogan, that's me sorted. I think at that point we've got a good enough squad overall. Until at least next time, obviously when players might leave. But I think next summer, I think Joe Watt will definitely do a show at some point discussing who think will leave towards the end of the season. Because obviously right now it's hard to really say. You might be a lot of guessing, but I have a feeling some players like. Well, I think Walker. I think Walker's done next year. I think he's done personally. This last season for City.
Yeah.
And I think even John Stones might go as well. I don't think he'll
go. I don't think he'll go, but he'll definitely be starting to get phased out by that point.
Yeah, because his injuries are just mounting up now. Like for me, if I'm
choosing
the best team,
whoa! Have you seen the news?
What's that?
Oh no! Never mind me.
Misinformation.
Someone's posted a picture of Gundogan at the Etihad, and I've just looked into it a bit more, and it's before the start of the game, so it's like from maybe last season or something.
Yeah, honestly, just wait for the club announces it, Bevo. Don't.
Yeah, no. I was just having a quick scroll while you were talking.
Oh, Jesus Christ, biggest time machine. Ricky's time machine. Well, it'll be a mad time machine. Score prediction for Saturday. Oh, I think it'll be a high scoring game on Saturday. I mean, we'll give it in a bit about predicting the games for the weekend, but I do think it'll be a pretty. Ipswich are not a bad team, but as we saw with Liverpool last week, they haven't got the ability to put chances away at home. I'm not saying they can't do it against us, but they've got to find that level because they've got Broya and Delap now up front, which is a good partnership, actually, a good partnership up front. But they've got a lot of players that are getting into this team from a League One team to a Premier League sort of standard. It's not easy to get that standard correct. So I think they'll take a while to get going. So I think I've ever getting about a good time. So I think personally, I said 5-0. I think it'll be a high scoring game. Not to be horrible about them, but it's being realistic about where Ipswich are at the moment. We should be beating them by a high scoreline. Me personally.
You would expect it, wouldn't you? Because we're at home. I mean, they have not got the lap because obviously he'll be ineligible to play against us. But
Is
you'd
he on loan?
expect some.
Is he on loan? Or is he
Oh yeah,
permanent
it was
transfer?
permanent. Yeah, ignore me.
Yeah,
I
so
thought
he'll play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was, I think you would expect Man City to go for like Savio if he's okay, and then obviously Doku. So it'll be like just chaos. Whereas when you go to Portman Road, it'll be more like Jack Grealish, more like control. But we should be whooping them like 4-5.
Purple Panel have put something out, right? I absolutely love this man. Arsenal approached Barcelona yesterday to ask about Ilkay Gundogan's position. Player declined the proposal before ultimately decided to rejoin City. Go on, Ilkay.
Love that.
Stick
Love
that up
that,
your
man.
ass, Arteta.
Also, yeah, Steve said that. I heard about this too. Villa wants Sterling. That'd be a good move.
That'd be a good move for him. Still Champions League football.
And he'll play. He'll play games. Absolutely.
He would,
I think
and he would be a good replacement for Moussa Diaby.
he would be.
And
I
Leon
think that's a
Bailey's
good
still
move.
there as well, isn't he?
Bailey's still there. So Bailey and that's good because Bailey are best mates, so it actually will work out pretty well. I think that can happen.
Yeah, Bailey and Sterling. Oh,
Bailey, Sterling, Watkins up front, mate. That could be a tasty team to watch. I say Villa obviously lost Luis, lost Diaby, but I think Villa on Saturday proved that they can still do it without certain players. So I think they'll be all right, especially if Sterling coming in. That's a good move for overall, I think. But back to the Ipswich game, I think I'll 5. How about you two? What do you think?
Ooh, I'll let Brucey go first.
yeah, like I reckon. For the Etihad game, it should be just more about fast-paced wingers. Just go full stretch at them. Don't go control possession based. Probably 4 or 5, I'd say 4-5-0.
Yeah. How about you, Bevo?
I don't know. It's a tricky one because I didn't watch much of the Ipswich game, but from what I saw from the first half, they looked quite composed. They followed the plan really, really well. But then from what I saw from the second half, Liverpool could have had 4 or 5. So
Yeah,
I think for me, I'd probably have to say 6-7-0. I
7.
Well, if Liverpool with a brand new manager can nearly put 5 past him, and I think it was at Ipswich as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, Portman Road.
it was, yeah.
So I think for me, like it's first time they're coming to the Etihad. You know, it's going to be a totally different atmosphere than what they're used to. I can only see 6 or 7.
Yeah. I think Gundogan will come as well. I think he'll make his return. There'll be a round of applause for him, and I want to score. Score his return. That'd be a great,
Gundogan
for Arsenal.
Gundogan
Oh, mate. Imagine a hat trick, mate. If he does a hat trick, mate, I'm like, oh, okay, right, Messi. I'll come back.
Well, Purple Panel did say he could play, but the key words could. I think it'll just be saving for West Ham and just give him like a lap of honour appreciation sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think either way, I think we'll win. Now, on to the other games. We'll also go to not much of an in-depth chat, but Brighton Man United is the early game. I think Brighton would look brilliant under the new manager. I think Kersler's football, from what I watched compared to the Derby's football, a lot more structure behind it. A lot more actually rather than just.
Well, isn't it? It's at the Amex as well, I think. Yeah,
and they're playing well. They're playing very well.
I can see Brighton getting one over on United there.
Yeah.
They've not got a good record at Brighton, have they?
They haven't, no. 4-0 there, 1-0. 1-0, 4-0 last year, I think. Was it 4-0? Was it 1-0?
4-0, I think it was, yeah.
And that was 4 or 5-0 at home. United were at home that day.
Yeah.
I just know Brighton United, their record's becoming like ours was at Tottenham, where they just can't win.
No,
Yeah.
Brighton are literally Brighton will be winning that. Okay? I just think the way that they play football, especially under this new manager, it's a lot more structure to it. I think they're going to have a much better luck this season. I mean, with the derby, it was just gung ho, not much about it to actually maintain and sort of sustain itself. I think this football that they've got under this new guy fits them well. Matoma looked back to his old self, and if we've got Brighton coming up at some point, that'll be a hard one for us. I think because Brighton play a style that's, I wouldn't say we'll batter them, but I think it'll be a much more game. We'll be a lot more competitive game against Brighton this year compared to last year. But I'll go Brighton 3, United 1. I think Brighton will win 3-1.
That seems fair.
Yeah, but I said it to you last week, look, didn't I? I said, with this new manager Brighton have got, I said, and obviously their philosophy as a club, it suits them, doesn't it? And obviously it's going to show in time. If you say it's more structured after what you watched on weekend, you can only see Brighton just getting better and better and potentially knocking on door of Europe.
Talking of Brighton,
it's just
you've seen that they've got rid of Barco today.
Who was that, sorry?
To Sevilla. Well, is that on loan?
Yeah, Valentin Barco's going back to Spain.
Fair enough.
It seems strange, really, because obviously we were looking at him and tipping him to be the next big thing, and then Brighton ended up signing him, and we all kind of thought, oh, there we go, he's got the right club, a team that loves to promote youth and play youth and develop the youth and stuff. It's just not worked out for him, I don't think.
No, I think Kurtzler's style of play doesn't really suit him either. I think what they've got now is I think they've got in the right. I mean, especially is it Ruther as well, joining from Leeds. That's a good move. I think overall he'll probably get better. And obviously, is it a Kyogo as well from Turkey they're trying to get? So they get some good players in Brighton. I think they get them in. They've got a good team that compete for Europe this year if they get injuries that did last year. So it's definitely a good chance for them. I think United for me was shit. It's Fulham, they were shit. Fulham was shit as well, by the way. Fulham weren't great themselves, but United, it should have been 0-0 that game. It should have been 0-0 draw.
I just said it on BBC Radio Manchester just then before we went on live here. I was like, I don't know how United got away with it because there was missing like a kind of Gundogan player just to get them pushing forward and get them like creating chances. There was something not right with that United team, and
the two hooked on names. The two hooked on names. Casemiro. He's not good enough. He's just simply not good enough. Yeah, he was a fantastic player in his day, but they signed him for something stupid like 70 million.
67.2, I think Goldbridge did say once.
Why?
Wrong player, man. Yeah. And look, this whole Xerxes hype, right? He got a tap in. Like, well done for getting the goal, but like that fan base, right? Just anything like they hype stuff up, and I'll do it. Good player. He's not a bad player, but it's like the problem is, Kay, is that fan base will overhype anything they can because I like Arsenal, the exact same thing. They hype anything they possibly can when it's not ready to get that level.
Give it come next week, and it's Haaland. It's Xerxes over Haaland, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
You've got to remember.
Haaland's gone. Yeah.
You've got to remember, we kept Ten Hag in the job.
Yeah.
Oh God, we did. Yeah, we did.
That's a genius move, like that. Absolute genius.
Ronaldo to Haaland and Zerk, mate. The fall off is massive. Massive fall off. Yeah.
I saw somewhere, I think it was Lad Bible or someone like that said, oh, Ronaldo's got unfinished business. All it was, they were trying to create a news story jumping off the back of Gundogan coming back to City. That's all that is. It's like, oh, Gundogan's going back to City for unfinished business. And it's like, oh, Ronaldo's coming back. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
I'm not being funny. Did you see his free kick the other day? Did you see it? You would have had to have increased the goal by 300% for it to have gone in.
Wow.
He's finished, mate. He's finished.
They tried to overrate what we do and try and make it look like, yeah, we're copying everyone. Like, I've heard when Henry went to Arsenal, and people were saying on Twitter today, oh, you're just trying to create your own, like, love story, love return. Henry to Arsenal, United to Ronaldo to United, and now Gundogan's just coming back for our own, like, love romance story. It's like, we need this player. Arsenal didn't need Henry. United didn't need Ronaldo, but we need Gundogan.
Yeah. The thing is, as well, is I've seen quite recently on Twitter and other places, and it's been going on for a while, but it's starting to get silly now. Like someone put up on Twitter the other day, and it was obviously a fake sort of superimposed image or whatever it was, and it was that Fabio Vieira from Arsenal.
Yeah, 20-odd games, 400 goals.
Like 208 goals in 33 games. It's like, why are you trying to force a debate? Like, what are you doing?
That's Rodri.
That's Twitter, Bevo. Twitter is about not saying about which team's better. My player's better than your player. It's the most playground. And the thing is,
it's just like, come on. I mean, if you're going to do something, make it believable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just constantly forced debates. It's like, oh, Saka over Foden. All right, okay. How many Premier Leagues has Saka got then?
Rashford over Foden as well.
Rashford's finished, mate.
I am telling you now, right? Phil Foden could retire from Premier League football today, and he would have more Premier Leagues than Rashford and Saka combined by the end of their careers.
And a Champions League.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll move on to the next game because we're racking on already. Palace West Ham. Now, both teams lost their first games. I mean, West Ham are obviously building a new team, a new manager. It's going to take time to obviously get it going. I mean, Villa are much more of a finished product under Emery. Palace surprised me, especially with Glasner. I'm surprised that they lost to Brentford in the end. I thought like a draw or like a nicked win, but this screams like a West Ham 2-1 win or draw.
The problem for me with Palace is they're selling too many of their best assets. You looked last year, and they, towards the end of the season, they looked an incredible team. Like, come the end of the season, before any transfers had gone out and Elise had gone to Bayern, as that team stood, I would have said that team's pushing for Europe, whether it be a Conference League or, they would be pushing for a European place because they had the manager, they had the team playing the right way, but they just seem to be going down this path very similar to what Brighton did of selling their best assets, getting money in and then replacing them with either loan players or young players. And like that style it's not sustainable. You can't keep that going and expect success. You can't.
Yeah.
On paper, at the start of the season, I would have said that this would have been a close game. But if you've got Mark Gahey potentially out of the door, even if they're not out of the door now, that they'll be uncertain about what their careers at Palace, and they won't be in the right headspace to play. You look at Eze. People are looking at Eze. Is Eze going to be focused on Palace West Ham? I don't know.
No.
And they're not going to buy the players like for like, are they? Do you know, like when Brighton buy players and then they sell players, they sell them and then they get a player that's exactly the same kind of attributes.
Yeah, well, one the Bunny Shaw and Vodem, by the way, both getting Player of the Year awards last night. Brilliant. So go on, Briggs, sort of bring that up. Go on, Briggsy.
Yeah, so like I say, like I know what Bevo's saying. If Palace lose all their like best assets, and even if Adam Wharton goes through the door wherever he goes, if he was to go this summer, you've lost like your three best assets, if you like. But at least with Brighton, their model is they sell the players, but then they scout all these players from like South America, Japan, wherever, and it's got the same attribute as the previous player had, and they've got the potential because they're younger. and then you can make profit and keep repeating the cycle. But if Palace sell Eze and sell Wharton, who's coming in to fill that void? Exactly the same kind of player, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it though with Brighton. You know, even that model, you know, as good as it is from a business perspective, if you're wanting success on the football pitch, it's not sustainable. You look at Brighton. You look at Brighton last year when. No, not last year. Year before, I think it was when they were in Europa League. You know, they pretty much crumbled in the Europa League because their whole team is just based around sort of young up and coming players. And if you want success and trophies, it's not a sustainable model.
Yeah, and
you know, look at Chelsea.
What I would say is.
Look, I was just going to say, look at Chelsea playing all of these players. They're not even finishing in the top 6 anymore, you know?
No, exactly.
What I was going to say was another player, Adam Wharton. You can't judge him after like 15, 16 games. He needs a full, consistent season to say whether he's good, whether he's bang average, or whether he's crap, and he can't make it at like a Man City or Liverpool. You need to give Adam Wharton that time. You can't just say 16 games, he's ready for like a big club. You just need to go under the radar and shine. Yeah,
I got slated for saying that. But if you look at Adam Wharton's release clause, it's £52 million. You look at Bernardo Silva's release clause, £50 million. I can't see that as being justifiable. Yeah, probably because he's young and maybe because he's English. You know, you have your English tax and stuff. But that his price tag doesn't justify his game time and experience yet. You know, he's had 16 games in the Premier League, and yeah, from what we've seen, he's been fantastic. But to go from the likes of a Palace up to a City, you need to have more game time.
Yeah, exactly. I think in terms of the game on Saturday, I think West Ham will win. I think Glasner for me is a good manager, but the problem is Palace having lost a say is a big loss. I haven't really bought anyone else, as far as I'm aware, in, have they? So like actually like replace him, have they so far, or have they? Is it Sarr?
There was talk. I was going to say there was talk they were going to bring Zaha back on loan, but I don't know. I don't know if that's happened or
no.
There was the big rumor of it.
I think Palace are just going to be one of the mid-table teams again. I can't see him going down, but I can't see him doing Europe this year, especially with the best players gone to Bayern now. I think it's just going to be one season. I think West Ham will win 2-1. I
was just going to say they need to hold on to that Jean-Philippe Mateta. He is an unbelievable striker. For me, if I was talking about a Haaland backup / replacement type of player, that's the player I'd be going for.
Absolutely. And also is like if Guehi goes, that's a huge loss. And also Anderson as well. Anderson's going to Fulham.
Is that where he's talking of going to Barca?
Fulham. Sorry?
Did you say Guehi to Barca?
No.
Is that
not Barcelona?
No.
It's Newcastle. No.
Oh, Newcastle. I thought you said Barca. I was saying, what?
Clean your ears out, Bevo, lad. You're hearing things.
Araujo to Guehi. What? Yeah. I like Guehi, but he's not the price they're asking for. But I get clubs of price players differently. But I think West Ham win 2-1. I think West Ham have got much better players. They've got a team they're building there that's gelling more, and they've got a lot of options they can use now. I think West Ham will just have a bit too much to them. I think it'll be 2-1 West Ham on Saturday.
Oh, full Kruger striker as well. Wow. He'll do some damage this year.
I've got him in my fantasy team.
He'll get you a point.
I think West Ham will be a slow simmer team. Like, give them a bit of time, they'll be up there again. They'll be up there for Europe this year, I reckon. Fulham Leicester. Now, interesting one. I think for me, when I look at that, I mean, Fulham obviously lost to United. They weren't great, but the fact they're getting players in now, it's a weird one. Depends obviously where they'll be. Obviously, with new signings coming in. Leicester actually did pretty well second half against Tottenham. First half they were terrible, but second half they were much more there, like Sells and the Cooper. But it's hard to really tell both teams how they're going to play because Leicester, like, obviously came out through 37, 38-year-old Vardy, getting another goal in the Premier League season again. But it feels a little bit like again unknown. The team is still quite unknown of how they're going to be this season. It screams like a draw. If being real, like a draw or maybe a Fulham win. It doesn't feel like great games that'll come on. I think it'll be quite a boring game, I reckon, probably. I'll try you two.
Yeah, I think for me, it's got a 1-0 written all over it. Either way, I probably edge more towards Fulham, maybe like a 1-0 Fulham. But it's going to be a very slow game for goals and things like that, I think.
And you got to remember that obviously they both did play two poor teams last weekend. I mean, United that last minute winner, and then Tottenham just letting Leicester have that second half all to themselves.
Yeah,
the traditional top six is no longer the traditional top six. You should be expecting United to put a couple on Fulham and Tottenham. They should have had Leicester in that first half. It should have been like 3-0.
Wipe the floor of them. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so it's probably more a draw, like you say, but I reckon 2-0 Fulham, to be fair. I just don't think Leicester will cut it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, very true. Former Leicester player playing against Fulham, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? He's a good player, but it's a weird one. It's just, again, both teams are really weird because we have no idea where both of them are going to be. Like, everyone's saying that Leicester will go down. I think they might do, but who knows? Like, it's a weird season. Like, everything can happen.
Leicester will go down simply because of the points deductions.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, if there's one team that surprised even me, if anything, was Southampton. I mean, they lost to Newcastle 1-0, but we actually watched the game, absolutely dominated them. Like, even for the red card, they were much the better team. Like, it looked like they actually, obviously didn't score, didn't win the game, but obviously they've got to try and find a guy after years being up in themselves. But if that's something that opponent can do every game, they have every good chance of staying up. Because I think Newcastle particularly as well, although they won the game, they weren't great themselves. They had to do a lot of sitting back in at home against them, which...
Do you know if Tonali's back now?
He's back end of the month. So not this week, next week he'll be back.
That'll be like a total new signing for them as well.
Oh, him and Guimaraes and Jolinton, that midfield will be a good midfield to watch.
But he won't cook yet though. He'll need to get used to like match fitness, match sharpness, and get back to the system.
Yeah.
I think with this comment here, like I still think they're going down because McCarthy is absolutely useless goalkeeper. I could not believe what he did for that Newcastle goal. All he's going to do is clear up the pitch.
They got a goal, Muir, did you say?
They've got Alex McCarthy goal.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's
didn't Muric, the old City goalkeeper, go somewhere?
He went Burnley.
I think he's he's gone Ipswich, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So he's it's Zuni you're on about. He's injured until March. So he'll be playing. But yeah. I mean, look, for me, I think it depends because again, like these three promoted teams, like anything can happen. Like they actually up depending on. But I mean, Leicester probably won't. Ipswich Southampton could do if they obviously get things right. Obviously going forward, they could get some goals in the team and try and sort of be a bit more robust. But I still think the bottom three that me and Bevo sort of discussed about, obviously on his show, it's probably the same bottom three I'm going to have for at the moment. But obviously on who they sign, obviously. But yeah. And yeah, Fulham. Yeah, Steve, you're right there. I think Fulham are like that. They're a very odd team to sort of really tell. And like, I mean, last year they actually had pretty well, like with Munoz, Pereira, and that. But this year it's a bit weird. It's not the same like Marco Silva Fulham that we were used to sort of seeing towards the end of the year. It's a bit of a weird one. So yeah, it's like with game week 2, it's hard to really tell. I mean, also Forest obviously against Southampton as well. I mean, Forest particularly, they were all right. But I wouldn't say they were great, but. It was the first game of the season. It's really hard to sort of tell where everyone is at right now because everyone's trying to sort of get their teams out and sort of their style of play. I think it's one of them games like it easily be a Southampton win or a Forest win. It's a very hard one to really sort of call as the actual result's going to be. So I'd probably say Saints nick at 2-1, but again, it could be any other scoreline depending on purely on who plays better. But I'll go 2-1 Southampton in that game. What about you two?
Yeah, I'm about right with that. Probably Saints just scrape through and get the win.
Yeah, I think that is a game where both teams do score. I think maybe 1-1.
Yeah, I agree. They're probably will be about the draw probably at the end. I reckon. Burnley. But I mean, on the Parker, it's Championship football. Let's remember this. Like they're playing the Championship, not the Premier League. It's hard to really tell Burnley right now because it could easily be like Burnley come back up again in the Parker and be terrible again. So it's good to see them play well again, but all different manager, it's different style. It's also Scott Parker's not really the best manager himself anyway. So we'll see what happens. Obviously on their season anyway. So yeah, I reckon it'll probably a draw. I mean, I said 2-1 maybe because it's a home advantage, but it's a weird one with
And let's be
games.
fair, they both haven't got any expectations apart from just staying up. They're both not going to be mid-table. They'll be like 14, 15 onwards.
Exactly, yeah. On the Spurs Everton. Now, Everton were absolutely woeful. Is this the year? Sure that they go down. I mean, because they can't keep doing this and getting away with it. How is Ashley Young playing for Everton?
Onana was a massive, massive loss for them. Massive.
Yeah. Huge. Look at Villa.
Excuse me.
Got a goal.
Excuse me, boys. Well, if you're going to have a go on Onana, right, you might as well go at me. I was the manager. I picked him. He can play if he wants to.
All right, Sean Dyche.
I've kept Burnley up over the years. I'll keep Everton up.
I mean, I'm ahead. Literally, the hairstyle literally is Sean Dyche, so it pretty much is.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Cheers, lads.
Briggsy, do you like eating worms, mate?
Harry Dyche.
Do you like eating worms?
Hey, I've had a picture with Sean Dyche. I'll send you it both later, but you can barely tell who's who.
It's Sean Dyche on the left.
Yeah, I'll dig the picture out later.
It's the same picture.
It's me double.
No, but Everton were terrible. I mean, Brighton absolutely just destroyed them. It could have been a lot more on another day. I mean, Tottenham just they could be a lot better, but it's the problem is they've got too many players that are just aren't good enough. Like they've got a good like Romero and Van der Ven are good players. They've got Porro, Udogie. It's not actually a terrible like base of team, but it's just they haven't got the mentality, which is one thing that they need to get into that team. They should have won that game like 3-4-1, not 1-1. Yeah. That's why they've got to improve, and that's why to me they aren't getting top 4. Nowhere near it because they just haven't got the like Son's 31-32 now. Like they need players that they're gonna step up and do something. And so it's a big sign, but it's a lot for him now to like step up and prove himself.
Yeah,
I don't know with Tottenham because, like I say, the way they should have buried Leicester in that first half, like I said earlier, it just makes you wonder what went wrong in that second half. I mean, I only think Ange's only got one style of play. He doesn't alter his tactics, and obviously when it goes wrong, it's clear to everyone how it goes wrong. Like they need to like have a different transition with the defense to the attack, and obviously they just don't do that. It's just literally attack, and obviously the big one was last season when they played Chelsea with 9 men. I know this is going back with when they had 9 men, but how the fuck didn't you change your tactics to go a bit more defensive, a bit more structured? Instead, you just lump everyone forward. His identity works in like these leagues like Scottish Prem, some leagues around Europe it would work, but in the Premier League, he leaves himself vulnerable, and they're not a top 4 team.
No, nowhere near yet. Nowhere near. I think this game will be a Spurs win. I think that 3-1. I think Everton just are not good enough, and I think I'm surprised that Bramford's still there. If I'm being real with you, I'm surprised he's still there. I think they're just a team that's destined to go down at some point, and if they don't improve, and it's their turn at some. It could be this year. I last year it finished pretty well, but losing Onana is a massive. It's a massive deal. They haven't got anyone in for him. They're playing Ashley Young still. It's like there's no replacement or like anyone sort of bringing players who are younger come through. Like you got sort of a better player than Young. You're gonna be not playing him. It's just Everton have got a lot of things they need to work out like behind the scenes and there. I think it's just they're not careful. It could be a long season for them. So for me, Tottenham win 3-1 for me. How about you two?
I'll let you go first, Bevo.
3-0.
3-0.
Well, as my friend Harris just said then, Tottenham have only got one style of play. I think I can nick a draw out of these lot. I really think it can be a nice, juicy 1-1. Defensive, attacking football.
I should change the name from Briggsy to Sean Dyche at this point. Is that the same? I should do it. Sean Dyche and Bevo.
Attack, we'll defend.
All right, yeah. You should say so, Sean. If you say so. Right. On to, though, a big game. Villa versus Arsenal.
Massive.
This is an interesting one.
Massive.
Because Arsenal were impressive to me.
Where is
Wolves?
Villa
Park.
Right, okay.
Villa Park.
Okay.
Look, before we go to Arsenal, let's go on Villa. 1-2-1. Are they great themselves? I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say they were like great, but they won the game 2-1. They got through it, and they obviously got a big win to start the season off. Especially with Duran as well, stepping up and getting a big goal for them at the end. Villa obviously, if they get Sterling in, that's a massive deal. If that's obviously true, it'd be a big sign up for them this season, especially them trying to get to obviously Champions League, also towards Europe. It's a lot of experience team. I think it's for Arsenal particularly as well. It's going to be hard because were they good against Wolves? Not really. They're actually quite lucky at times against Wolves. If Wolves were going forward, it could have been a draw another day. And Arsenal fans, I think, are too blind and too deluded in their own minds to focus on us rather than their own team. Only certain fans actually in the community focus on their own teams. Yeah, I'm seeing that from Steve. Fuck. Oh, yeah. Carry on commenting, you two. But for me, that Arsenal fan base is just far too delusional.
Sorry,
I just don't think.
Carry on.
No, I know it's fine, mate. No, I think that fan base is far too delusional to actually accept or look at the actual errors in their team. And it's the exact same issue they had years ago and last year. They're not a fan base that focus on getting better and demanding more from their ownership and obviously the manager as well. I'm not saying that last year they were really good last year, but they just need to focus on, instead of actually having a go and and having a go at other fans and rating their players, why don't you say, where's like our striker that we need? Where's this player? Why is Mikel Merino taking weeks to get done when it should have been done ages ago? Like, why is Calafiori getting in when they weren't even meant to get on the player? It's like they're getting players that they don't even need. And like I think if they're not careful, Arsenal, they end up finishing third. If they're not careful.
Well,
especially if Liverpool.
They've not bought the only player really that they need. Last season, they had the best defence in the league. They had the best defence in the league last season. Why do they need to improve that over a striker, which they're going to need come the end of the season? Because come the end of the season, how thick and fast the games come. They can't be relying with Kai Havertz as their target man. It's not doable. Like you're not going to win. You're not going to win with Kai Havertz.
He'll score goals.
You'll get a game or whatever out of him. He had a good game the other day. He scored a goal and assisted a goal or whatever it was. I don't know. But like, he's not going to do that week in, week out.
No.
I said it to
No.
Luke last week. What they're missing is Osherman. That is the player they need.
Well, that's
They'll have to
Chelsea,
pick
isn't it?
their
That's he's
jigsaw.
Chelsea bound now, isn't he?
But
Is
I
it
should be in for
Chelsea?
him. Should be in for him. Well, Chelsea right now are just buying anyone and selling players. Like, tell you, buy you. It's just they're just going for a market. It's like going to the supermarket with a amount of money to try and get whatever you want. It's not that not much
Oh, yeah,
thinking.
it's
Just
Circus.
Well, that's the whole reason.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason the Alvarez deal nearly fell through, was because there was a player from Atletico Madrid that was supposed to be going to Chelsea.
Samu, isn't it? So,
Yeah, and then Chelsea ended up backing out. From what I gather, they ended up backing out because Osimhen basically come out and said, "Look, I want to go to Chelsea." So I think that's pretty imminent that he's probably going to go to Chelsea. But is that another good name that's going to be destroyed at Chelsea? You know,
That's why I think it's more perfect for Arsenal, in fairness.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Much.
Osimhen, Martinelli, Saka. That's a great front three. Great
Yeah.
front three.
Last peaks of their jigsaw, because like Bevo said then, it's miles better than just using Kai Havertz 24/7.
Well, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't even play Martinelli. I rate Trossard over Martinelly.
Not bad shout.
I think
I was thinking of. Go on, Luke. Go on. Sorry.
What I was going to say, I think it'll be I think it'll be a Villa win. I think this time Arsenal will go down a bit more about them this time. But I think Arsenal at the back, Saliba and Gale were very dodgy as Wolves. If Wolves had better players up front, they probably would have got a goal. And might have even got a draw before they got a goal. So Villa with Watkins, Arsenal cannot afford to be doing that again with Ollie Watkins up front and Bailey. No Diaby, but they've got Bailey, they've got Ramsey, they've got Rodgers as well. A good player for Villa. They've got a good bunch of players and players on the counter attack that will punish them. So Arsenal has to be careful. If they play against Wolves, Villa could win that game 2 or 3-1. It's one of them games.
That's what I was just going to say about that then a minute ago was last season when they played us and Arsenal back to back and they played outstanding in both games. Obviously, the game plan is going to be a lot different from Arsenal and us this season, and especially Arsenal now first up. They're not going to settle for how Villa played last season. They're going to have to try and stop their game plan from being exactly the same because they'll get figured out. It depends on how Arsenal set up the team, if they're just going to utilise Kai Havertz, or if they're going to have a complete different system and like play through the middle a bit more, play through the flanks, and obviously keep Ollie Watkins manned up and that, because if you let him have the free space, he's going to just do what happened last season, just bag.
I'm gonna be real now, right? When you look at Pep's apprentices, and I think I've said this on another show, when you look at Pep's apprentices, if you maintain the one style of play, you will get found out. Because if you take a look, anyone that comes through Pep or has sort of been an apprentice graduate underneath Pep, they always try to play the same style of football or similar style of football, but the same kind of process of keeping the ball, pass around at the back, X, Y, Z. But if you look at Pep doesn't even play the same way every year. Pep always, whether it be halfway through a season, whether it be at the start of the season, he always changes it up and does something a little bit different so that opposition managers can't basically find him out and get used to that system. Can't go, okay, well, last year City did this and this is how they set up and this is how we can stop them, X, Y, Z. But Pep will already know, like, I've got another system that I'm going to play because you're not going to expect that. Whereas very much with Arsenal, the Arsenal not last season, but the season before, played exactly the same way as they did last season. They just got used to it a little bit more. Now, for me, if Arsenal go into this season and maintain exactly the same style of play, Arsenal don't finish in the top 2.
Yeah.
Because they will get found out.
And their fans can't see that. Their fans still think delusion that, oh, this is our year this year, you know, third time lucky, we'll get. They're not thinking. Like Robbie, they don't think. They just want. They think that eventually we'll stop. They want to win it. They don't realise that just because Liverpool won the league doesn't mean you win it as well. To earn it, you have to earn that. You have to actually have to go to us and get a win. You have to win all the games that you actually won last year as well. So obviously, their Wolves which is fair enough, and obviously they should have done it anyway. But Villa, they lost 1-0 last year. They have to win this game. This is a game that they need to win if they want to win the league.
The other thing that you need to take note of as well is that last season against the top 6, we weren't great at all. We were quite poor. Do you think Pep's going to want to go into a new season and not absolutely obliterate the top 6 teams?
And Villa especially.
Yeah. Do you not think that he would want to go and absolutely obliterate every top 6 team to make a statement? You know, because I've said, you got nothing from the top 6 last year. You were lucky to win the league. Mate. All right, hold this space. Watch this.
Chelsea, boom, out of the way. 2-0 down. That's one win gained from a draw last year. Mate.
And bearing in mind, that Chelsea game, we had no Phil Foden for 90 minutes. We had no Rodri. We had no John Stones. We had no Ake. You know.
Did Foden play?
Foden played 45 minutes, but he didn't play 90.
Yeah, it was come on.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't get that. Sorry, I've gone.
You know, we were missing, you know, a lot of our starters. You know, Kyle Walker. There's and we still did a job. So imagine what it's going to be like when they do come back and we've got Rodri back. Think what it's going to be like when we bring back, you know, the likes of Walker and Foden's playing 90 minutes and, you know, Grealish is getting in the team again. Like, you really think that we're going to lose to all the top 6 teams again this season? Not a chance. Any chance.
I just think the team. I think the team knew last year weren't enough. Like, they won the league, but we weren't good enough to our standards last year. I think they know.
I don't think any team were. You know, you look at Arsenal. They say, "Oh well, Arsenal were fantastic." They were fantastic in comparison to the other teams.
But like you said, though, we mix things up, don't we? It's like Guardiola towards the back end of last season, getting a bit more further forward, getting more involved in like creating chances and scoring chances because he was told to go a bit more further forward. You wouldn't see like Ben White doing that for Arsenal, would you? You wouldn't see Tommy Asu doing that with John Stones' role. It's what Arteta doesn't have, what Pep has. He has the ability to like adapt.
The other side of it as well is, you know, you look at Haaland. Haaland's only been with us for 2 years. He's got 2 Premier League titles and a Champions League and an FA Cup. Mm-hmm. You look at Phil Foden, 6 Premier Leagues. You know, Walker. I think Walker's 5, 6, something like that. 6 as well, maybe
6.
6.
John Stones. John Stones 6. Ruben Diaz 4, something like that.
4.
Yeah. 4. Kevin 6.
Nathan Ake 4. You know, these players, without even realising, are just natural born winners now because they've done it consistently year in, year out. We have something that they don't have. And that's, you know, they say, oh, you know, we've got the best goalkeeper in the league. We've got the best right back in the league. You know, we've got the best, you know, right winger in the league. You can have the best players in the league. Absolutely fine. You take that. If that is what you believe in, you take that. Absolutely fine. Whatever.
What a trophy that is. What a trophy.
I'm not bothered. You say Saka's the best right back in the league. You know, you say Ben White's the best right back in the league. You know, for me, you can have, we've got the better team FC. But ultimately, what matters at the end of the year is the shiny cup
Right.
that you pick up.
Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The mentality, mate, of Ruben Diaz and Ake, mate. Mate, I'm sorry, right? I always think, right, Ruben Diaz is better than Saliba and Gabriel. People say Saliba for me, right? He is great. He's great. I rate him. I rate him very highly. As someone who's said about themselves playing football, I love watching Saliba play. I think Gabriel can be better than him at times though, but Saliba is by Arsenal fan because of him playing for Arsenal. I don't think he's better than like Diaz or I think even Vardiol's probably close to Saliba. I mean, Vardiol, if you watch him play, much better footballer than Saliba, much more versatile, and also can defend as well. I mean, I know Vardiol's for about a year, but Josko this year will have a big season as well. It'll be even better this year. Ake as well, obviously bigger team as well. We've got 5 centre backs who can or 6 of them can do jobs when required. Arsenal haven't got that at all, and that's why for me, it got like Tommy Arsu, who's better plays games. Ben White, who's this overrated right back. Everyone thinks is better than Carver House. I just don't answer that quite honestly. Some of them are winning afterwards, but they just rate their players too highly when they haven't won anything yet. Like, a comment came here from Steve. Win a trophy, win a cup, because they've won nothing with this team. I'll tell you, won a trophy, but with Emery's team towards the end of that season he first joined, their cup team. This is a whole different Arsenal team now. Win a trophy with this team, and you might get a mentality in the squad to go on to win stuff.
Lee Gunner puts it perfectly. Lee Gunner puts it absolutely perfectly. He says, well, the thing is, like, the way that Arteta gets around it is by saying, "Oh, it's okay because we're in phase 3 or we're in phase 4. We're not expecting to win anything yet. We're still in phase 4," and it's like this is like the excuse that they come out with to say, like, "Oh, yeah, but we're not. We didn't win it because we never expected to win it because we're still in phase 4. Wait until we get to phase 5 and 6." Listen,
Marvel.
Listen, mate. You can be in phase 10.
In the
Do you know
dog.
the difference as well? Do you know the difference is we've won the league with a false 9. Arsenal haven't won a league with false 9, and Arsenal won the FA Cup when they had a Aubameyang, a proper proven striker.
There we go.
They haven't won a league with a striker yet, so makes sense, doesn't it? You can win something with a striker, but you can't do your false 9 tactic because you don't know how to implement the false 9 properly.
This is what I said before, right? Arsenal, what you do, right, the fan base, instead of talking all this on Twitter, why don't you just lock into the season? Everyone focus, saying, right, enough chit chat, and just get on with it and back the team and demand more from them. You might be all of a sudden, Arsenal team feel like, okay, they are pushing us here. Let's go on, and they'll want to go because I think Arsenal can do it. They can. Obviously, last year they beat us, so we always win the league. And that good team that can do it. Obviously, last year we were pretty poor in some games. Last year, obviously, poor.
Sorry, Steve Black. What a comment.
Oh, yeah, Steve, you are getting modded. You will.
Wow.
These comments are brilliant. Honestly, you are getting modded after this stream. Don't worry, my friend.
This
you
guy's
are a
on
great
fire
commenter.
tonight.
He is. He's
This guy's on fire.
Go on, Steve. Go on, Steve. No, I just think for me, Arsenal need to win a trophy. Win a trophy. The fan base lock in, focus on the team, but they won't because then it's not about that. It's about
but they won. But they won the City dinner plate. We beat City dinner plate.
Mate.
They also
Did you
had
see
the
Martin
best chance.
Keown have a meltdown because of that? Because of our celebration.
I saw Martin. What are you? You want a fucking bloody Invincibles? Where's your mentality gone? Look at lots of Vieira, Burkhardt.
This is the guy. This is the guy that's saying, "Oh, City players need to keep it humble." But then when Van Nistelrooy misses the penalty, he's screaming in his face.
They also had the best chance to beat a poor Bayern Munich team and right the wrongs of 10 years ago.
God, Farage, bro, God.
That Bayern Munich team last season was so poor, and Arsenal crumbled.
Oh, I got clipped for Calafiori. I do a show on a Thursday night called Football Uncensored. And I was on with an Arsenal fan, he's actually a really good guy, Sicilian Gooner. He was the one who put up the baby picture of him. He was the one that put the baby picture up of him and said, "Oh, Calafiori's been an Arsenal fan since day one," and he rattled the entire fan base and everything. And I was on with him, and we were talking about Calafiori, and Chris, the host, said, "Oh, Bevo, what do you think about maybe him going to City? City will snatch him up." And I just said, "Oh, I don't want calamari." And I got clipped from day one saying that, and I regret saying it now, but
they're a sensitive fan base. They're a sensitive fan base.
Yep.
Oh, I got so much hate for that. Like, so much. All right,
this guy once called him cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
So, can you clarify? Did you call him cauliflower once on stream?
I'm sure he will clarify. He will clarify. I'm sure he will. Going back to the game, I think Arsenal need to win. They need to win this game because if they're going to make progress this season, progress in their eyes, they need to win this game.
Do you know what? Yeah, right, for me, I'm being honest. Yeah, I think Arsenal are just trying too hard. And I know that sounds daft. I know that sounds daft to say, but when you've got the manager organising for a pickpocket to come in and pick people's pockets and stuff, say, "Oh, you always need to be aware," and then it's like, "I know what we're going to do. We're going to get a dog and we're going to call it Win." Like it's trying to force it. Just let your team. Let your team flow and let it happen naturally. You're trying to force something. It was only a couple of years ago that he was walking around the dressing room with a light bulb in his hand, going, "Oh, we all need to be connected to make it shine." Like, what are you doing? Just let the player. You bought these players in because they are good enough to play for your football team and they are good enough to win things. So let them do it. You're forcing it, and I think that's what's causing a lot of pressure from the Arsenal players because they're getting towards the end of the season and like, "Oh, we can't forget about the light bulb. We can't forget about the dog." You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, stop forcing it and just let them play football.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, look, I mean, for me, the score will be. I think Villa will win 2-1. I think Villa will win again. I just think Arsenal fans will think why. The thing is, they need to start saying why and just think to themselves. Instead of having to go at other fans for predicting against your team, why don't you find out why are people doing that? And shouldn't we just prioritize like backing the team and demanding more? Because if they demand like we do, we demand more from our team. We're happy seeing good. We know how high the standards are, and we want to keep them that way. It doesn't mean we know that winning you aren't guaranteed to win anything. You're not entitled to win anything. You have to earn it to win trophies. You've got to earn that trophy in order to win it. But we, the fan base, know that we have to back the team all season and push them all the way until it's obviously it's done.
We don't put those levels of pressure ever on the team. We never have. Pep always comes out and says every year, he comes out and says, "Oh, well, we'll see what happens come the end of the season." Whereas, you don't see Pep Guardiola, hiring a pickpocket to go around the City dressing room, do you?
Nope.
It's just odd. It's just really, really odd.
That's the difference, isn't it?
You need to put your trust in the players. That's the reason you bought them. You bought them because you trust that they will fit your system. So
that's the difference, isn't it? Because if you look at us, right, Pep said we will be late, and yet they're doing pickpocketing sessions. You don't win anything in September, October, November. You win some around 38, and we usually get into gear about springtime onwards, proper gear, that is, first gear. And Arsenal are just like, "Oh, let's do pickpocketing now." What are you going to achieve by getting your players in that mindset now, and then the switch off by Christmas?
Exactly.
All you've done by doing that is if a player goes into his pocket after training and loses his phone or whatever, he'll think he's just giving him PTSD. You know, you're not achieving anything by doing that. You're keeping the players anxious. You want them to be settled. You want them to, when it's like anything in life, right? It's like anything in life. If you don't put the pressure on people, they will thrive. The minute you start putting that pressure onto people, that's when they'll start trying too hard, thinking about things too much. It's like I just think it's very forced. Just let it happen naturally. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, you lost to the better team. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. All right, Neo, calm down. You aren't in the Matrix.
Got to salute Steve in the chat. So got to be careful of my eyes. Can't lose my eyes, you know what I mean? In case Arteta comes round and pickpocket is my eyeballs.
Sean, have you had a nice day? You had a nice day outside today? You done much sunbathing, or what have you been up to in your day off?
Well, Bevo, here's what I've been doing. I've been relaxing. I've been planning what I'm going to do if I get knocked out of my job at Everton and I get sacked. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a nice vacation. I'm going to go to Ibiza, have a party, look like this, raving with my sunglasses on in a nightclub, dancing to a bit of Taylor Swift, love story. What are you going to do with your weekend, Bevo?
Taylor Swift? Where does that come from?
Right. If you want the honest story, yeah? If you want this story about Taylor Swift, one of the City lads in the fan base called Nathan, sound lad, he's got me on a video when we was in Madrid.
I think I know which Nathan you mean as well.
Yeah, he's got on his phone. He's got a video of me with my coat on, hood up, sunglasses on, a nightclub at 11 o'clock, dancing to Taylor Swift's Love Story because I was hammered.
Oh, mate. Oh,
brilliant.
Bring on the away days this year, man. Bring on the away days this year, man. Bring on the away days this year. But right, we'll get wrapped up obviously in the predictions. Predictions for the Arsenal game, you two?
2-2 for me. It's going to be one of them games, isn't it, where both teams will cancel each other out. It'll be a draw.
I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it, but I'm probably going to sway towards 2-1 Arsenal.
Fair enough. All three games: Bournemouth, Newcastle. We'll just predict this game. I think it's talking about. I mean, Bournemouth were fine. Yeah, Newcastle were. I think that screams like a 2-2 draw for me.
At Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth. Iriola, obviously with new players. Newcastle having to sort of get obviously no Shah. So that Evan Nilsson they got from Porto.
Not a bad sign, actually.
So that's a good signing.
Yeah,
it's a good signing actually. Bournemouth. Yeah, I think 2-2. It'd be a quite close game, but draw for me.
Who's Bournemouth playing?
Bournemouth are. Sorry.
Is that who you're on about, Bournemouth?
Above Newcastle, yeah. That's what I'm about.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
2-0 Newcastle.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Bevo. Probably 3-1 in my opinion. They'll get a goal, obviously, at home.
All right.
And you know Wolves, what that Vitality
Chelsea.
Crowd's like.
Yeah. Wolves, Chelsea. Wolves. 2-1 Wolves. Chelsea just look like a mess. You've got players coming in left, right, and centre. Players leaving left, right, and centre. It's like a never-ending like conveyor belt. That isn't going to stop until like next Friday. So yeah, Wolves 2-1. I think Gary O'Neill football
as well. I rate Gary O'Neill. I think he's a class manager.
And Chelsea, that's a mess in itself, man. Like players leaving, it's a long game. Yeah, Wolves 2-1 for me. How about what, Harry?
Yeah, I'll just go on it, touch like 30 seconds since I was obviously at the game on Sunday. I said to my mate who was a Chelsea fan, took him, and I was like, your team is an absolute shambles. There's no organisation, there's no leadership, and I mean leadership obviously at the top. Like I said on the stream last night, they need to have like a proper Tiki Bergerstein organising Chelsea, because it's just a free for all. They think they're us in like 2008. They just need to have some
we
kind of
didn't even
structure.
go that mad. We didn't even go that mad.
No.
But that's what I mean. They're overtaking our levels. They've overtaken our levels of just like being
Chelsea,
complete
Chelsea, have
nutters.
spent
Yeah.
Chelsea have spent more in the last 2 years than we've spent in the last 10.
Aka, Terry. But it's obviously that what's the word? Like virus is spread onto the pitch, and it was that boring on Sunday to watch. I said to my mate, I'm being serious, Chelsea relegation battle. I'm calling it.
If they go down, if Chelsea go down, right?
Look at Leeds United.
Yeah.
And
If
the old Leeds
Chelsea go
United.
down, imagine the scenes if they go down. Like the amount of money they lose, the players that will be forced out on big contracts, on big wages. That would be the biggest collapse of the club I've ever seen.
Let's not get it twisted either. Chelsea could be in some, if they carry on this levels of spending, they could be in some serious trouble.
Worse than
FFP and PSI not picked them up.
This is what I mean. Who's to say that they're not going to get a 20-point deduction halfway through the season? You just don't know.
Exactly,
Seriously.
Steve.
I'm confused by it.
It could be a point deduction because there's no way you can't keep avoiding this forever. FFP. They have to at some point go say, right, the rules are the rules. We got to look at like Everton, like Everton and like Forest were like dealt with, like, and look at Forest when they bought a couple of years ago.
The thing for me with Chelsea here as well. Now, I've not sat there and reviewed the entire team, but they're letting 2 English players leave. Surely they need more English players to fill the homegrown quota. Surely, because everyone they seem to be buying seems to be foreign players.
This is what my friend said to me the other day when I was on the train, and he was like, "Remember when they had that transfer ban and Lampard took over the first time? He was promoting all the youth players like Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, the centre back Tomori.
Gallagher.
He had all them youth players coming through English quarter, like Bevo said. Now it's a free for all. My mate said to me, they worked well under the transfer ban.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I had 2 friends who have been Chelsea fans, and I just feel they're just done with it. I can't. It just they've had enough because they're back the team, but like the ownership's run poorly. There's no plan. There's no structure in place to sort of want to get back to where they were a couple of years ago. Like remember, 3 years ago they won the Champions League against us.
Exactly.
But
and I said to mate, that team's unrecognisable.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, final game, Liverpool-Brentford. Interesting game. I think Slot so far. I think that I feel from a little bit because he hasn't had anyone come in yet. When he needs players in, if anything. But I think his style of play is very similar to Klopp's, where like it's not like this like heavy metal football, but I think the style of play isn't far away from what they were doing last year. I think it'll be all right for the players, but I just wonder how long can they keep going on last year's team and then injuries happen? Because if they get injuries, they're looking very, very dodgy. Because, like, you have Canate who's injury prone, Matip who's just gone now. I think he's gone now. Like, it's not a lot of cover, a lot of cover there. And they also players in.
Rely on players like Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones. You can't rely on those kind of players as getting you through a season.
On the off game, you can, but not a long-term picture. You can't. I agree.
No. But what I'm saying is, if you get an injury to McAllister and Szoboszlai, you are knackered.
But I suppose, with that respect, imagine like the don't sign anyone before the deadline. I suppose these kind of games, your Brentford's at home, your Bournemouth, your Wolves at home. This is where you could play your Harvey Elliott, your Curtis Jones, and then at least you've got your Szoboszlai, you've got your McAllisters for like the bigger games, like what we have with Rodri, etc.
Yeah,
You rest them where it matters.
Yeah, I think it's on a Sunday's game. I think Liverpool will win anyway. I think Brentford played pretty well against Palace. I think it was Burmo and Vissa, man. I'm surprised they're still even at Brentford. How is Burmo still at Brentford? Like, he's actually a good player that could be for a better team
He's
than
a
that.
real football player, yeah.
He'd be great at Villa. He'd be great at Villa or something, especially if like the Derby got. He'd be great for that. I mean, obviously it wouldn't happen, but if Brentford ever go down, them two are definitely going for a good price to obviously some good teams. But I think on Sunday, I think Liverpool would just have too much for them. I think I'm going for Liverpool win a 3-1. I think Liverpool win
2-0 for
3-1.
me.
2-0. How about you, Bevo?
I was going to say maybe 3-1.
3-1. Cool. So that predictions, I think, if I say the Monday game, there's not. No. So that's it. That's all the predictions done for this weekend's
No, I
game.
didn't give the Chelsea one actually.
Oh, go on, mate.
Quickly,
I didn't do the Chelsea one either.
3-0 Wolves.
3-0 Wolves. Oh, I just said yeah, it's fine. 3-0 Wolves. I thought yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me if it was 3-0 Wolves.
I'm going to say 2-1.
2-1. Yeah. So that's predictions done for this week. Do you know what? I ended there 2 hours on stream, long stream, but a lot of support, a lot of comments throughout the time as well, which is brilliant. People still tuning in, chatting away. It's always great. This community is growing really strong on the channel, across all the channels. Obviously, Bevo's was a great community on his own channel himself. He's getting up to 200 subscribers now. Please, in the stream right now on Twitter or YouTube, get over to his channel and subscribe to him. Please get him some more subscribers. He deserves it. He's a brilliant YouTuber, a brilliant guy. I call him a great friend. Please have him on the show finally, and more shows coming up. Big up to you, my friend. You're doing a great job yourself, man.
I'm 28. I'm 28 subs away from 200 now, so getting there slowly. But yeah, some exciting stuff coming up. Obviously, you know, I've had yourself on. Look to get Briggsy on as well. Yeah, plenty of exciting stuff coming up.
Absolutely. And next week, for obviously, unfortunately, about Briggsy. Next week we've got a new guest coming on who's been on, like, recently started her articles again recently. Now, obviously, she hasn't done YouTube for a little. It's been a while since she's done it, for about a year now. Well, now it's obviously in due course, but she's done some great articles, and she's got quite a big page built up from about a year and a half ago from doing her own articles and that. So look forward, and she's a good friend of both me and Briggsy. So we'll look forward to having her on channel the first time next week, which would be good. I'll be on soon for our ranking transfers, which will be a fun stream. That'll be a fun stream to sort of rank all transfers we've ever made. Well, ever made. Christ, many years to do that. But we'll rank obviously the ones proposed to take over. But no, we've got a lot to look forward to. A lot to bring on. And obviously, big up Ryan for subscribing to Bevo's channel, getting closer towards his next goal. Always appreciated. But to everyone on the stream, cheers to all on the road to more subscribers ourselves, and we'll see you guys soon for the show. See you, people. Have a good evening.